Hello, this is a video for Miss Albritton's English 11 for week 4, September 27th through October 1st. So if you're watching this, it's because you were absent on either one or multiple days this week. So watch this video. If you have any questions, please email me or talk to me at school afterward, but I want you to watch the video first. So this week we have Google Slides. We are starting chapter 2 of Born a Crime. You'll see in week 4 modules that the slides are the only thing that we're turning in. And then we have 2 videos that we're going to be watching this week, and they're also linked in the slides, but also here on Canvas. So go back to the slides. Our schedule for this week in terms of what we're doing. We have a couple writing prompts. We are going to watch The Danger of a Single Story. If you are in my 4th period class, we will be doing our grammar punctuation lesson about apostrophes. If you are in my 5th and 6th period class, we are doing that next week. And the reason for that is because I'm trying to keep the grammar lessons that we do once a week on Wednesdays, but obviously with the rolling block schedule, I get half of you, or I only get part of you as a whole every week. So whatever my 5th and 6th period class do not get on Wednesday that my 4th period does, we'll just move to the next week. So for this part of the slides, if you are in 5th or 6th period, you can ignore it because that will be for next week. Okay, and then chapter 2, we are reading that. My goal is that we'll start it on Monday or Tuesday, depending on what day I have you, and then finish it on either Thursday or Friday. And then we're going to do what I think is going to be a really fun activity, that this part you won't necessarily turn anything in other than making sure that you have your writing prompt complete, and then we have first chapter Friday. So to start, I need you to answer these questions based off of us reading chapter 1 last week. What are your first impressions of Trevor Noah's autobiography? Is there anything that you can relate to? Is there anything that you found pretty interesting? So take a minute, pause this video, and respond to those questions. And then if you were gone this day, you're not going to turn to the person next to you because you're not in class. But I want you to review your notes and the things that we covered last week about these 4 words: empathy, marginalized, heritage, and apartheid. Some of these we went a little bit more in depth. Marginalized and heritage, we didn't go super in depth because we're going to do that in the future. But these 2 for sure we talked about. So review your notes. So what you're going to do now is you are going to watch this TED Talk video. It's about just under 20 minutes long. This is Chimamanda Adichie. She is a writer and a speaker. She's written several books. And this TED Talk is actually pretty old. It's from 2009, I believe. And it is one of my favorite videos that I've ever seen. Some of you might have seen it before. Some of you, maybe this is brand new. If you choose to go to college after high school, I guarantee you will probably watch this at some point, especially in like a maybe social studies class or even an English class. If you choose to become an education major, you definitely will watch this video. So you're going to take a look at it. There's going to be some questions on the next slide for you to respond to. They look like this. So on this slide, the words that are bold, that is a direct quote from the video, and then the question is underneath. So you're going to watch the video. You can pause it. If you pause it about halfway through, you can answer this first question, and then these 2 are almost directly after. With this last one, when she's talking about stories that make up who you are, I want you to think about examples of things in your life, good and bad, that have happened that have impacted who you are as a person, your identity, and what you believe in and what you stand for, and just how you operate every day. Basically, after you watch the video, you'll find that she talks about the fact that we need to look at a person as a whole, not just the bad things that happen to them, not just the good things that happen to them, but as a whole, because life is all about that balance. So you're just going to list, bullet point, a few things about you and your life, stories that have impacted who you are as a person. And then you're also going to make a quick list of people in your life who have impacted you in a good way, people that have made you a better person. They've made a positive impact on your life. I just want you to simply write their name down and probably how they're related to you or how you know them. So the person's name and if they're a friend, your mom, whoever it is. Okay, so with reading Trevor Noah's book, those of you that reached out to me and told me that you would like a physical copy, I was able to get a hold of more books, which is awesome. So some of you will be getting books. If I can't get more copies of the books, I'm really trying my hardest to get more. I will absolutely be printing out the chapters every week. And those are a great option as well, because those you can take and you can write on them and highlight and make whatever notes you would like. So if you need sticky notes, if you borrowed a book because you can't write in it, I have a couple and I'm ordering more. If you are getting a physical copy that I print out and you need highlighters, I have those as well. They're coming in the mail. So just let me know. I'll have them at the front on my desk every week. So you don't even have to ask me. Just come up and grab a copy. And if I need to make more, I totally will. But again, it's also on a digital PDF. So this week we are reading chapter 2. The chapter is called Born a Crime. We're going to find out why the book is called that, and it's going to take us roughly 25 minutes to read. So again, we're going to split it up between the first half of the week and the second half. So starting the book, I want you to answer these questions. This one down here is italicized because I realized this question is not on your slides. I somehow forgot to add it onto yours, but I still want you to answer this question. So the first one, recap what Trevor said about apartheid in South Africa. What did the government do to segregate people and to divide people? And then how did Patricia act toward those rules that the government set up? What was her response? So pause this video after you've started the second chapter and respond to these questions. Reading a little bit farther, I want you to pause at this point in the slides on either page 24 if you have the physical book or 22 if you're on the PDF, and answer these questions. How did Patricia meet Trevor's dad, his biological dad, and what did Trevor think about his parents? How does he describe their relationship? Okay, at this point in the video, if you are in my 5th or 6th period class, please ignore this part. These will be on the slides for you next week. It's going to be really confusing. I'm not trying to be confusing, but this is just what we're going to do with the rolling block schedule, since every week I will see my 4th period class either 2 days a week or 3, and then my 5th and 6th, vice versa. So if you are in 5th or 6th period with me, please skip this whole punctuation lesson because we're going to do it next week when I have you on Wednesday. If I have you 4th period, pay attention. So punctuation can greatly change the meaning of any sentence, statement, or whole text. This is a picture of my parents. This is my mom, Debbie, my dad, Tim. I'm going to tell you something that my mom does that drives me insane. She texts me using the voice to text feature, and a lot of times it'll look like this. This is an example of something that she might say to me. When you use voice to text, unless you tell it to put punctuation, it won't do it. And so it creates one big long run-on sentence, and it's really hard to decipher sometimes what she's trying to tell me. So this is an example to show you how important punctuation is. It dramatically changes how you receive what's being communicated, and it makes people a lot less stressed out, like me. So if you are in my 4th period class only, 4th period, you're going to watch this video if you were absent, and then you are going to go down here and you're going to circle, identify which examples are using apostrophes correctly on each of these 2 slides. 4th period only. 5th and 6th, we will do this next week. Okay. So, writing prompt. You are going to write about an influential moment in your life or something that changed your life. So something, again, it could be for the good or the bad. If you are present on campus the day that we do this, you would need to be prepared that whatever you write about, you're going to share with a peer. So I want to just preface that first because that's an activity that we're going to do. If you were gone this day, the only person that's going to read it is me. So write about an influential moment in your life, something that changed you, for good or bad, you decide. If you were gone this day, you can just add a slide and put it in the slides. But when we actually do this in class, I'm going to have you write the prompt on a piece of paper. Okay, so after we do that, we are going to pick up where we left off with chapter 2. So pick up where we left off and read. Then we have these questions to answer. Why does Trevor call his autobiography Born a Crime? What is the story behind that? That should be approximately page 22 or 24 of chapter 2. And then I want you to describe to me, what was it like for Trevor to grow up when apartheid still existed? Because I believe he was like 7 or 8 years old by the time Nelson Mandela was freed from prison and apartheid ended. So how did his family protect him? What was his life like as a little kid? Okay, so this is the activity that we are doing in person as a group. So if you're gone on this day, this probably won't make a lot of sense, but you can pay attention anyway in the video. So my question for you, what is the best way to empathize with another person? Another way of saying it is, what's the most effective way to feel empathy for another human being if you can't actually experience what they've gone through, or you just haven't experienced it before? The answer to that question is you get to know them. You hear their story and you understand where they're coming from, even if you haven't necessarily experienced that yourself. So what we're doing, we are modeling, this is not my original idea. I copied this from Mr. Ruiz, our principal. It's called Community Lap Around the Track. And the idea is that he does this with the staff every Wednesday. He gives us a question, and then we are supposed to partner up with another staff member that we don't know super well, and we take a lap around the track together. We walk one lap, and we talk about our response to the question. And so if you are here in person, this is what we're doing. I'm going to number you off 1s and 2s. And then with your partner that you were assigned, you are going to practice empathy building by simply just sharing your response to the writing prompt that I started the class period with about an influential moment in your life. So the thing about this activity, obviously if you're watching the video and you were gone this day, it doesn't really matter. But I'll say it again because it's important. Doing this is only going to work the way that it is intended to if you ditch the sarcasm and you decide to be genuine with the person you are partnered with. What I mean by that is, especially in this generation, we tend to, if we kind of feel like uncomfortable or we don't know how to be just kind of honest, or we don't know how to like communicate with another person, we just tend to kind of get sarcastic and joke around, and that's fine, but I really want us to be genuine. I don't want you to just kind of treat this as like something that your English teacher is giving you. I really want you to try to get to know the person that you're partnered up with. My goal is that we're going to do this a couple times, weather permitting, and I got permission from our PE teacher to use the track. So please take this seriously. Just hear the person out. The goal is that you write your response on the paper and then you take it with you as kind of like a script. So you don't have to like think in the moment as you're walking. You can even just like look at it if you need to. So that is the activity that we're doing in person. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take a look at this video. This is what I'm just calling Trevor and his grandmother, but Trevor and Soweto is the name of the video. He goes back to his hometown, he visits his grandma, and they have a conversation. So you're going to watch the video and you're going to respond to these questions. What did his grandmother remember about Nelson Mandela? How would you describe his relationship with his grandmother? And then if you could ask his grandmother one question about her experience living in South Africa during apartheid, what would you ask her if you could kind of interview her? So you're going to watch that video and respond to those questions. And then the last thing on the agenda for this week is First Chapter Friday. And this is one of my favorite books that I have read in such a long time. This is called Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. Ruta Sepetys is a historical fiction writer, but the stories that she writes are based off of true historical events. So the characters and the stories in the book aren't necessarily like nonfiction, but the story is inspired by an actual historical event that happened. So this is a story that takes place in the Baltic Sea region during World War II. There are a bunch of refugees trying to escape parts of Europe that are Nazi occupied, and the Russians are starting to close in, and they are trying to get out. Many of them are just injured elderly people or little kids. There's injured soldiers. And our story is told from the point of view of 4 different main characters, all coming from different countries, different backgrounds, and they all kind of have a different mission. There's different things that they're trying to pursue in the plot, and it is very interesting. There's also a little bit of a love story, which is pretty cool to read. So this is one of my favorite books that I've read. Ruta Sepetys is an incredible author. Her writing is like watching a movie, but through reading a book. That's the best way I could explain it. Every chapter is max like 3 pages long, so it goes by pretty quickly. And it's just amazing. It's really, really amazing. The story is sad, but she is such an amazing writer. It's a great book. So if you are a fan of historical fiction, if you love anything about World War II, this is a really great read. So if you would like to watch the book trailer, it's linked in the slides. And if you would like to borrow the book, let me know because I have a copy. That should be everything for week 4 for English 11. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. But I will see you soon.